That was belonging. No introduction, no small talk, no shared opinions or heated debates. Just rhythm. Easy, right? We spend a lot of time talking about belonging, but really not enough time creating it. If belonging is so easy, why are we so bad at it? This is where we're getting it wrong. We all ask each other to explain, share, reflect long before any of us feel safe enough to do any of that. We're treating belonging like a skill or a currency, something you either have or you don't. In or out, quick, pick a side. But belonging isn't something you have. It's something you feel, something your body experiences. So we're getting that order completely wrong. We're starting with words when really we should be starting with the body. And I believe that rhythm may very well be our route into that. And the body knows. We've been using rhythm for thousands of years in our tribes. We've used it not just to celebrate, but to connect with each other, to move, to hunt, even to mark the seasons. We know it deep in our DNA. So I want to bring you back to the dawn of time. And I want you to imagine like you're sat in your cave, all nice and cozy and warm, with your people where you feel safe and you belong. Maybe you have a roaring fire in that cave. Maybe you've just had a really juicy deer steak, so you're all nice and relaxed. But then wait. You hear a sound in the distance. Maybe it's just a snap of a twig on a tree, but it's suddenly done something to your body. Suddenly, your heart rate is a little bit elevated. Your breathing is a little bit shallow. Your eyes scan the horizon, looking for anything, any sort of threat. And you see a pair of eyes coming closer, and another, and another. And you're not the only one to have seen it. The rest of your group have spotted it too. You're all on your feet without even a word spoken, as you all start to see a pack of ravenous wolves charging towards you. You all start moving completely in unison, like a choreographed dance of survival. You grab a child under your arm and you all start running for safety. At no point do you stop and say to the group, hey, psst, does anyone want to share how they're feeling? Anyone? No, of course not. You'd be dead. So instead, the body takes over and you move together. And that in its most basic form is belonging. It's fast, physical, collective, and urgent. And now back to present day, and we still have that same rhythm in our DNA. Our bodies know it. We're born into the rhythm of contractions in time with our mother. Her heartbeat, the first thing we hear as we're held in rhythm. But over time, we put such things away until we replace it with conversation. And now we are all so clever and logical and sophisticated. From classrooms to boardrooms, we ask, who belongs? Where do they belong? Whether they belong at all. All while our nervous systems are completely fried. We're all completely overstimulated, but underconnected, still scanning for threat, still worried we're going to be left behind, still urgent. So it's, of course, belonging falls down today. Not because we don't care, but because our body just isn't available for it. Now, I didn't set out to become obsessed with rhythm. It's a weird goal to have in life. But at 22, I was a young theatre professional and thought I knew everything I needed to know about the world. When I was freshly grieving the loss of my mother, I found myself halfway across the world, halfway up a mountain in the tropics of East Timor, a new country in the middle of Southeast Asia, freshly grieving themselves after 25 years of genocide. I didn't speak the language. At 22, I was hearing the most devastating stories of trauma, loss, pain. I felt just completely lost. More than that, I could feel that knot tightening in my stomach. Who was I to say anything to these people? I didn't belong there. What could I possibly say? Nothing. So I did what I normally do when I'm lost. I play a game. But this time, a really, really simple clapping game that anyone can play with no instructions or language needed. And at the beginning, a couple of children joined in. It was just one clap being sent around a circle with eye contact. Soon, some more children joined in, and then more and more. And before we knew it, some adults started to elbow in, and the circle grew and grew until finally we were playing this really rapid game all the way across. People were leaning in. People were open and ready to receive each other's beat, completely engaged, completely unified. And I thought, that is so much easier than trying to convince someone with my words. But also I noticed something else. I was calmer. That knot in my stomach had dissolved. I felt calm. I felt connected. Now, as facilitators, we're often expected to be these really knowledgeable experts. But that often just separates us from those that need our help the most. In this circle, no one was leading. No one needed to perform. We were just one group finding a shared rhythm. And in that moment, in that circle, I felt like I belonged too. And it was from that moment that I became obsessed with rhythm. So I decided to travel to lots of different countries. And I worked with groups from the ages of 5 up to close enough to 105. And it was the same thing everywhere, from schools to hospitals, community groups, even swanky corporate offices in the city. The same thing kept happening every time I started with rhythm. I saw cynical teenagers who were furious to be in a room with me join in. I saw adults with profound mental health issues and social anxiety feel safe enough to take part, that it didn't feel terrifying. I saw senior leaders of multinational organizations take part and be present and connect with their teams in ways that actually felt authentic. Every single time I started with rhythm, people engaged fast, but also the groups regulated. But I kind of really wanted to know why. Why is rhythm such a social glue? So I worked with neuroscientists and researchers and academics. And I found out that there's a reason why this rhythm works. Rhythm creates synchrony. Now, studies have shown that during a shared rhythmic activity, just like the little one we did a while ago, can actually align heart rate patterns in a group. Now, our hearts didn't beat together, but what happens is our heart patterns start to move in sync with each other. So our words might not match, but our hearts can. It doesn't stop there. It's also been proven in neuroscience. One music study showed that there's something called neural synchrony, so that even our brain activities can align when a group shares a rhythm. So it works. Rhythm can sync groups in hearts and minds. And in a world more divided than ever right now, maybe rhythm is the radical intervention we all need to give ourselves and each other a chance. Because when we're given a chance, something starts to happen. It's like a tiny little spark, a spark of possibility. The problem with a spark is that it's fragile, and it only works if we make that belonging really easy to step into. And when I saw that, I also saw that then there's almost a pattern to how we make that belonging not just possible, but open for everyone. First, we have to think about how we engage people. Yes, absolutely, let's make it fun, but also let's make it safe and inclusive so no one feels a pressure or a need to perform. We just start together and it feels good. And from there, we can step into belonging because people feel safe and more aligned, like they're part of something. Not because they said something hilarious or impressive, but they actually experienced it in their bodies. And from there, and only there, we can create change and connections to ourselves, to each other, out into the world that maybe we've closed ourselves off to. Now, if we try and start from connections first, all that happens is we're going to reach the people we were always going to reach anyway. But when we start from a place of safer engagement, we reach those who thought they never belonged in the room in the first place. The shy, the anxious, the overlooked, the excluded. Now, I want you all to imagine something. That you step into a room, maybe to your team, to your school, your family, your world, whatever that is. And instead of talking, you're going to create a space. Like, I don't know, a collective breath. Good, it doesn't have a hole. And from there, you're going to start something. Yeah, you. You're going to start a rhythm or a beat. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. Absolutely not. There is no way I am going to go into one of my groups and do that. That sounds awful. But guess what? Someone has to start it. If we want that spark of possibility to stay ignited, maybe we all need to start something. And guess what else? When you start something, someone always joins in. And then someone else joins in. And then another. And before you know it, people look, they're engaging. They're doing it. Just people playing. And when that occurs, people start to engage, it feels good, and then they can belong. Look at that. You started that, and you started it, and look at you, you're continuing it. Like bubbles of belonging. And before you know it, all of our bubbles of belonging start to travel. Imagine where they could land if we all choose to start just like this. Look. Because we don't belong alone, but we begin together. Thank you.